Hello, all, and thank you for attending, and we appreciate you, and we want to welcome all the FICPA members, and a special thanks to the FICPA community, the staff, and its members as well, for allowing Aon to get in front of everybody, and myself the opportunity to get in front of you virtually. I guess for right now, it's the new normal, right? So I'm Robert Albertini, account executive with Aon and the AICPA professional liability programs. And I've been with Aon for a little over 20 years, 22 years to be exact, and I'm here to provide you an overall of the program. We haven't done this in a while, so I figured I'd go ahead and do this for our FICPA members and kind of give you an oversight of what Aon, the AICPA insurance program, and our members are doing. So, so thank you for being part of this. So at Aon and the AICPA, we have over 70 years of experience, and from an administrating standpoint, we are the administrator of, Aon is the administrator of the AICPA products, including our carrier CNA. We are a full-service broker. We're traded on the stock market exchange, obviously. We're, for global professional services. We have a very broad range of risk coverage, retirement, and health solutions for companies. Also, through proprietary data, we're also offering coverage for that. As you can visit us on our website at aon.com. Globally, we have a little bit over 50,000 Aon colleagues working around the world, and right now we're all working from home, so everybody's VPN's on overtime, I think. We have 120 countries in which Aon operates, 500 global offices, and we produce about $290 billion total premium, and that's placed annually from an Aon standpoint, quite a bit. We are now the largest broker in the world. And I'm here to discuss what we offer through the AICPA program. And I am one of the salespeople, account managers on the professional liability side. In 1967, we established it. We grew to be the largest provider serving CPA firms with over 25,000 firms and insureds. The eligibility is any CPA firm. If you have a CPA on staff, you qualify for the actual application and policy. And the professional liability policy provides coverage defending claims of negligence and to underwrite the cost of recovery, such as claims that are found to be valid. Our limits of liability go up to $10 million, and we are in progress and in talks with our carrier CNA to see if we could possibly extend that to $15 million, because firms are growing and we want to grow with the actual the landscape of all the other CPA firms. So I think it's best if we go ahead and bump that up. So we're in talks right now to see how well we can administer that. The policy is underwritten by CNA, and it's administered by Aon Insurance Services, who I work for. This is also advantage to the policyholder, because we also offer exclusive risk control training, which is developed by CPAs for CPAs. It's not as if you're getting a policy where you're endorsing the CPA coverage onto the policy. We're giving you a policy that is helped and written by CPAs like yourself. And we are, as I mentioned, the nationwide provider, the largest nationwide provider for accounts professional liability coverage. Our target audience could be varies from all types of risks, all types of profiles, all areas of practice, where you're doing 100% public audit to 100% tax or consulting services. All CPA firms, from $1 revenue to right before the Big Four. As I said, we cover all types of industries, and we're available nationally with coverage worldwide. So that's coverage is global. So what makes us successful is our segmentation and our strategy. So we have 3 different types of levels of coverage, and some of you are on our CPA value plan, which is about 3 or fewer professionals, normally grossing about $400,000 in revenue, very low risk area, maybe like bookkeeping and tax. no public audit we see with those smaller clients. Then we have the premier plan side, whatever doesn't fit into the value plan, are pretty much the mid-sized firms, and that coverage is customized for your unique need. And then we also have our regional firm, where the billings of the firm could be over 10 million. And this is right up until before the big four. It's a very broad policy wording with some self-insurance retentions and deductibles. As I mentioned, the types of firms we service and help in our program are tax, audit, sole practitioners, boutique firms, which could be industry or area of practice. It could be by region. We specialize in that. Also, risk profiles impacted by claim experience, area of practice, and firm experience. And this is largely, that last section is largely based on the pricing of each firm. Because if you're doing 100% tax, and I tell clients this all the time, to 100% financial planning, your pricing is going to be very, different if you're comparing apples to apples to another firm. Our clients are really, when they send in applications, we have an actual endorsement for cyber liability, which has been a very hot topic. And we've been offering this coverage since 2009. 2014, we extended to our smaller firms. And in 2017, because we're always growing, we offered another product called our NetProtect Prime, which I'll get in after this slide. And what this is really the most important part that it includes with cyber liability, you want to protect against any privacy expense and network damage claims. Two of the most important focal points when a client and they have a privacy breach. Now you have all that information out there. You have your responsibility is to return that to the client and say, we're going to credit monitor. We're going to help you with that and assist you through this breach that we're having. It's kind of a service that you render to your client, but we're actually covering you on the standpoint of the firm. So, and we have, as I mentioned, risk control regarding cyber. It's open to every firm. It's endorsed. It's an endorsement onto the professional liability. You can also purchase this as a standalone, which sometimes gives some robust coverage as well. And this is also administered by the Aon Insurance, which is our company. And I spoke to you briefly about the NetProtect Prime. So this is the only differences that we're adding to the CPA NetProtect Prime, which is available to only the midsize and the firms above that, is on our Premier plan. And what it is basically the CPA NetProtect endorsement, including extortion, regulatory, cyber data business interruption, and data restoration. And those all have a drop down of $500,000 limit coverage. So if you're covered for $1 million for cyber, these will be a drop down to $500,000. We've been seeing a lot of firms get extorted as well. And with all the regulatory issues out there, with state laws changing, this is, because if you're doing work in Florida and you have clients in Georgia, those regulatory fines and penalties can increase from different states that you're doing work in. So you want to make sure that you're covering yourself properly when it comes down to that, because those fines and penalties can be a lot more than what firms are. It's not like $1,000 fine most of the time. So I wanted just to touch on why firms or why our insureds need cyber insurance coverage. And CPA firms, I mean, you're all targets of this. You have a lot of client information that your clients trust you with. I mean, I know I trust my CPA with my information, and in the event something happened, I mean, I'm going to probably take action against him. But thank God he's been doing really well for me. But you are the role as the trusted advisor, and that creates a perception of responsibility. And with cyber, it's constantly changing. It, as I said, varied by state to state with privacy laws or regulatory environment. And CPAs are just aggregators of data. You have a lot of information, including the PII, personal identifiable information, personal health information of a client. And this is all confidential. I don't know if you knew this, but cyber insurance also covers paper records. So it's always good to get some sort of policy, even if for the minimum, just to cover yourself. What's involved? Financial risk. What's at risk is your reputation. This exposure is also for third party, your client's information. If you have stuff stored in the cloud, that definitely will be covered under a policy. Even client portals is also covered. It's from one breach to another. We see. I just had 2 breaches. It's not even. Let's see. This past week, I had 2 breaches happen, and the client sent me an email, and I emailed them right back. I'm sorry, I called them back and saying, excuse me, but this message looks a little weird. And they said, oh, we're aware of it. We're getting a lot of these calls now. So that's what's covered under the insurance policy for cyber. I touched on risk control services and training, not just the cyber-related part of it, but for professional liability. We, through our hotline, get about 1,600 calls annually from policyholders. That's a lot. We handle 25,000 insureds, and this can be questions related to a number of things, whether it's engagement letter review, whether it's looking at RFPs, discussing other types of new areas of practice that a client may be going into. We have an online policyholder resource center which holds all our engagement letters, articles, and newsletters. Risk alerts that go out, with this COVID-19, we've been sending out risk alerts every week now. So be on the lookout for that if you've been receiving. I'm glad. So that keeps you in touch. We also have a lot of presentations that we do, kind of like what I'm doing today for the FICPA. And not only that, but our firm does work with the Journal of Accountancy, where we give a professional liability spotlight. And CNA kind of takes the lead on that, since they are the professionals. They have a lot of risk managers there that come up with some great content for firms. If you ever needed an article, let me know. I'll be more than willing to send it over to you. No problem at all. We have a lot of seminars that we do nationally, kind of like the live one that we should have been at today. So we do about 40 plus nationwide. And as I mentioned, we're in conjunction with all the CPA societies. Whether if it's even some things that we customize for large firms. We have risk management control online as a self-study. We do a webcast with CPA.com. We do lunch and learns to kind of help you. We're eating for 1 hour, and you can earn CPE credits during eating lunch. Isn't that great? You can also earn CPE credits when you're doing a webcast of ours. Sometimes we hold a 3-hour seminar where you get 3 CPE credits for ethics. Now, if you're a firm and you have coverage under our program and you send half the professionals to our risk management seminar, you can receive 10% credit for premium credit off the base rate for the next consecutive 3 years. So that's 3 years in a row you will get credit on the insurance policy. That's worth a lot. So always look into that. As I mentioned, we have the best claim handling, CNA. We stand by them. We get the claim. Why I put this slide up there? Because we get the claim to the right claim to the right person. Because not every attorney firm out there knows, tax work, or how to deal with an audit or a consulting engagement or a financial statement. So everything is not one size fits all. So, but that's our approach, obviously. We have 16 attorneys waiting for your phone call, and risk managers, they're waiting to assist you. I mean, ultimately, the goal is to exceed your expectation during the interaction, because every claim is different. And CNA's claim handling is a center of excellence. How we look at it, it starts with our initial solutions team. It progresses over to our core team and our strategic claim unit team. Now, basically, this is like an oversight of the core claim team, but it specializes in helping us position ourselves with every complex and matter, and hopefully, it's a good resolution for you. But everything has a specific engagement, and we look at how complex each matter is, and in a high volume environment that you can be in, especially during tax season. It's always good to have the backing of CNA expertise and experience that they have that is able to go ahead and assist you. They've been doing this for a long time, and we look at them as those professionals. Yep. Comprehensive risk analysis with a lot of the regulatory changes impacting the profession, the cyber regulation. We're always updating our insureds with our risk alerts. Our thumbprint is on the economic conditions, kind of like, as you said, what's going on now with the COVID-19 and the impact on the claim frequency. If we see a claim coming out of a certain area, we kind of go ahead and send out an alert for that. Severity of those claims and the trends. Public watchdogs and fraud auditors, we focus on that as well. Changes in the litigation environment. Expansion of third party, real important. Complaints filed against bankruptcy trustees. We've been seeing some claims on that as well, and so we try to help our clients with that. And the evolution of the profession, as you know, as a CPA society, and firms grow, we have to grow as well. So we've increased consolidation with accounting firms. We broadened the scope. We changed our professional services. We gave services also for new data, evolving the cyber. We have white paper on marijuana industry, cryptocurrencies, blockchain. It's all under one roof kind of thing when it comes to coverage with our policies and our insurance. Risk advisory services. So we have many clients contact me about engagement letter review, disengagement letter, to get out of a contract. We have contract review and advice with our risk managers, indemnification language. We broker. If you have coverage that is brokered, we can also help you with the placement of that. Certificates of insurance, very large when it comes down to dealing with contracts. You want to make sure you have the proper certificate when forwarding over to your client, so there are no questions. Even claims consulting and advocacy. We have many people contact our risk management hotline just to go ahead and discuss what might happen if I put a claim in. There's no deductible for that, obviously. We're just talking. So yeah, so we do like to go ahead and discuss that with our client prior to having them put a claim in. One great thing is our risk management advice, as I mentioned, and our benchmarking. So, if you're a firm that's $1 million, we can tell you where all the other firms are in your segment and what deductible they're carrying, and what we're seeing, at some of the risks that they might have had and claims for those types of accounting firms, all the way before the Big Four. As I said, we're always evolving. Our program has enhancements. We've increased deductible credit for engagement letters. We've increased our risk management credit. It's now 10%. It used to be 7.5%. You get, if you are in any of the quality centers, PCPS credits and quality center credits. We have refiled our claim extension reporting period options, our tail options. We just increase our new business accounts year to year, and our retention is always good because we're always driving for quality and assisting with the risk control. That's one of our, we try to offer enough risk control to our clients so that keeps them out of court. That's really what it comes down to. Because the more training you have, the better it is for you and your firm. We also, for our renewal side, have ease of process. So for each renewal, we've had facilitated them. And we were up to 80%, which is a real easy application. I think this year we reduced it to 7 questions, actually. And it has a signature there on the bottom. It's a real simple one-step renewal. It creates higher retention for our firms. And now for 2019, we have numbers that it was over 90% of our firms have this shortened application. So this enables more times for you to spend what you have to do instead of just thinking about a renewal process and completing a long application every year. It's just, we don't do that. Now, some firms would have to still do that based on their criteria, areas of practice, etc. And as I said, evolving is what we do. Employment practices liability standalone policy has been refiled and completed We have 2 new endorsements, and I will speak about that later on. I'm doing a separate session for the FICPA, and one is a wage and hour endorsement and workplace violence. These are 2 hot topics right now, and I probably forgot to put on third-party coverage in there because that's also new. We also have a management rep that we are rolling out this year, and this will be for third quarter, so starting in July, and this will be tacked on to the professional liability. It's a new management liability which covers the partners, and also has an endorsement on there for employment practices and a crime. So we're thinking what other carriers are not thinking, obviously. And I think we're doing a good job at it since we've been doing this for such a long time. And just to speak more about the employer practices liability, this was actually introduced in September of 1999. We redid the policy to include those wage and hour and workplace violence, but we have over 300 policies, and this year, let alone, we've written about 50 more. So I think firms are trying to start to understand what the need is. For if you have 5 partners or more, it's best for you to have some sort of employment practices liability coverage, which covers you against discrimination, which is one of the largest lawsuits that we're seeing, whether it be sexual discrimination, age discrimination, failure to make partner, wrongful termination. Some of these issues happen before even the interviewee becomes part of your firm's culture. Harassment is also covered. And these are eligible for any of the CPA firms. And our limits go up to $5 million. We increased that as well. All the policies are underwritten by CNA and obviously marketed by Aon, since we are the AICPA insurance program. But it's actually a pretty good additive to the actual policy. You could purchase this as, just like the cyber, as a standalone policy, or you can have it added onto a policy, but that would be only for defense costs, because we normally see a lot of our clients like to have it separated from the professional liability if they can. And this is our last slide here. It's pretty much all what we do. I think we have about 450 people that work in our Fort Washington office, and about 120 just handles the AICPA, since we have over 400,000 CPAs, whether it be in the professional liability, cyber, or our identity guard. We have our group life and life insurance, disability, auto and homeowners. If you haven't gotten a quote on that, I know Florida's rates can be all over the place sometimes, depending. It's always good to get a quote. Long-term care, professional liability umbrella, personal liability umbrella. We've seen an uptick with those as well. Very affordable. You don't even have to have the home and auto with us to purchase a liability umbrella. You could have it with your own coverage right now. Workers' compensation, business owners policy, professional liability, group life, and as I mentioned, cyber liability for firms that qualify, and employment practices liability. And as I said, it's not just about business, because we do it for your practice, and we do it in for your life as well. So to cover both aspects of that and bringing it all together. So I wish you guys the very best during these crazy times. Kind of a short and sweet presentation regarding our program at the AICPA. If there's any questions you may have, feel free to contact me, and be safe out there. And I thank you, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great one.